New mom Michelle is 26 years old and recently welcomed her precious new daughter into the world. As she looked down into baby Emily's big blue eyes and dreamed of all the incredible journeys this 7-pound, 2-ounce miracle would grow up to experience, she imagined her girl might become a ballerina, a pediatrician, or a teacher. Tears streamed down her face as she felt a sense of joy and boundless hope that new moms instinctively feel when they see their babies' fresh, full faces. But Michelle's tears are tinged with guilt and shame because she knows that before baby Emily can grow up to become that pediatrician, ballerina, or teacher, she must go through the excruciating process of withdrawing from heroin. See, Michelle didn't start out using heroin, and in fact, she might not look like how you imagine a junkie looking, but following a sports injury in college, a doctor ordered prescription pain meds, and Michelle was hooked. When the meds ran out, a coworker offered to get her pills for a price, and it wasn't long before a friend told her about heroin. It was so much cheaper. It would make her feel even better than the pills. Well, Michelle dropped out of college, and after going through detox and treatment 4 times, Michelle knows the agony of withdrawal, and it's the last thing she wants baby Emily to ever go through, especially in her first days of life. Michelle knows that because baby Emily is no longer receiving her daily doses of heroin, she'll soon start to exhibit the telltale signs of neonatal abstinence syndrome. As her withdrawal sets in, baby Emily will begin feeling indescribable pain, causing her to scream a telltale, recognizable scream that may go on for hours, days, maybe even weeks or months, leaving her and her caregivers completely and utterly exhausted. Baby Emily will begin shaking and tremoring indescribably, almost unbelievably. And I want to show you this. This is difficult to watch, but it may look something like this. This is not sped up or enhanced in any way. This is the real-time tremor of a baby in withdrawal. What we're witnessing may go on for baby Emily in some fashion for months. In addition to this tremor, baby Emily will have a difficult time feeding because her nervous system is affected by her prenatal drug exposure. Baby Emily may take a breath when she's supposed to be swallowing her formula, or swallow her formula when she's supposed to be breathing. Much of what she does eat, she'll likely vomit, contributing to poor weight gain. The drugs and medication will leave her body through her stool, causing diarrhea and horrible diaper rash, only increasing her discomfort. Baby Emily will begin sweating as her body, her tiny little body, deals with the chemical withdrawal, and as a response to the sudden removal of opiates, baby Emily will begin to sneeze and sneeze and sneeze. And not those cute little baby sneezes that we all find so adorable, but repeated, consistent, relentless sneezing. In an effort to soothe herself, baby Emily will begin grasping and clawing at her own face, causing her to leave marks on her skin and scratch her precious new cheeks, which has now begun to mottle as a sign of her withdrawal. To alleviate her symptoms, doctors will admit baby Emily to the neonatal intensive care unit and begin treating her with oral doses of methadone or morphine. This 2 to 3 week treatment will relieve some of baby Emily's unbearable aching and aid in her newborn recovery process. Between periods of caring for babies with higher acuity needs, the nurses will swaddle and hold her whenever they can to comfort her and help her to know that she's not alone during these frightening first days. But she often falls to the bottom of their priority list because while her crying is intense and her needs are great, they're not immediately life-threatening. So baby Emily often waits for someone to hold her. And Michelle wants to be by baby Emily's side during this painful first journey, but she's bought into the lies that her disease tells her, and she doesn't come as often as she wants. See, Michelle believes the lie that she's not worthy to be there with baby Emily. And Michelle believes the lie that she wanted to do this to her baby. And worst of all, Michelle believes the lie that she must not love baby Emily if she allowed this to happen to her. So her visits become fewer and farther between. Michelle's parents visit baby Emily every day, and they tell anyone that will listen that addiction is a brain disorder, that Michelle's not some moral failure or worthless loser who chose drugs over her baby. Michelle is as dependent on that chemical as baby Emily is, and she deserves the same compassion. But they're often met with a patronizing head nod or an uncomfortable side glance. They begin to understand why Michelle stays away. But today is different. Today, Michelle does go to the hospital to bond with baby Emily. Today, Michelle chooses to believe the truth. She is worthy of bonding with baby Emily. Michelle wants baby Emily to grow up healthy and strong. Michelle loves her baby. You see, Michelle's story doesn't have to end up on the 6 o'clock news, and baby Emily doesn't have to grow up fearing that her mother might not make it to her next birthday party. What we know about baby Emily and the others like her born every 5 minutes in our country is that not all their stories end badly. Mine didn't. Growing up with 2 addicted parents wasn't an easy road for me or for anyone in my family. But when my father reached out to me 17 years ago, this very week, to ask for help, the assurance that he wasn't alone in his journey is how my father's been able to maintain his sobriety since that night in October of 1999. But he couldn't have done it on his own. And the Michelles of this world can't do it on their own either. In their fight for recovery, those who struggle with addiction need support from their families, their friends, and their communities. The increasing numbers of baby Emilys in our society deserve to have teachers, neighbors, clergy, and lawmakers who understand that addiction affects far more than just the addict. See, this is no longer someone else's problem. We are all affected by this, and we each have a role to play in the solution. So today I stand before you as a grown-up baby Emily, and I ask you to search your hearts for the answer to this. What is your role? And more importantly, are you willing to play it?